Alright, folks, we're back in Planetbase. I still have the music turned off just because I'm trying to avoid copyright strikes. But we're going to continue our game and see if we can't expand our base and see if we can't fix our problem. So, obviously, we still need metals and plastics so that we can get things going. Let me go ahead and turn the domes off so you can see inside, because we're going to need more food. So that's part of the reason we're building this big biodome over here. Let's get this up to maximum 4 times speed there. Yeah, I'm worried about food. Also, I'm going to turn off colonists for now. Yep, well, alright, so we just got that message. One of our bots is damaged beyond use, and there it is. And when they do that, they fall apart into their constituent parts, which in this case is some plastic and there it goes. They're trying to figure out how to get to it. It falls apart into plastic metals, basically. And to build a bot like that, it normally takes you plastic metals and a computer chip. Which, once we get the factory going, we can start making those computer chips as well as like the spare parts that we're going to need for our base here. There we go. You can see them getting the factory up and running. Yep, manufacturing limits. Yep. Okay. So what we can do in here is we're going to need a spares workshop. And we're probably going to want a semiconductor factory. There we go. And we got a trader. Oh, good. It's got another hauler bot we could buy. It's also got some spares, which we also need. What's his commission? Oh, his commission rate's real bad. Yeah, we'll buy the spare. We'll buy the hauler bot, but it's going to cost us a lot. We'll sell him 2 of our ore. Some of our... Actually, we'll sell him 5 of our... Or all 4 of our starch there. And, No, we're just not going to be able to do it. Alright. See if he'll give us 1 coin. Nope. This commission rate's hurting. But there we go. That's what we're going to have to trade him just to get a spare part, because we're out of those. Alright. Once they get that spare parts shop built, we'll be able to start making spare parts here. Yeah, we're low on food, I know. I know, guys. We may have to switch this up to high production. Yeah. See, we're running real low on food now. Good news is as they keep throwing things in here, it's going to keep producing food. It's not great food, though. Let's see here. Alright, so we got some more food coming in. We're cutting it real close. We're going to need them to keep processing metal and bioplastics right now. Mostly metal. Let's see what we can do about... No, that's not what I want. Return to game. So one of the things it was talking to us about is we can go over here to manufacturing limits. And we can set all this to infinite. But we're not. We're going to set this down to, like... We want to keep, like... Say 20 spare parts on hand. And, like... Maybe 20 semiconductors on hand. And we'll probably say 20 guns on hand at most. There we go. And medical supplies... I like to keep a large number of those around just because they're good trade fodder. Now, we can't even produce medical supplies right now. I'm going to speed this up. Every time one of these storms blows in or something, it slows the game down. How are we doing on food? Okay. Because what we'll do, as soon as they get this built over here, you know... Now, good news is this produces 2, so it's 1 metal and 1 bioplastic, and you get 2 spare parts. So that's one of the good things about that one. So it's not like you know, 2 to 1. It's 2 to 2, thankfully. Making it fairly efficient. And that's one of those things that we'll probably set up a second one of those as we get further along. We're going to want a lab soon as well, so we can start producing medical supplies. Okay, so we can now make semiconductors. I'm going to set this as priority over here, so I want the metals going over there. We're going to need another one of these water extractors soon as well. This is the first time I'm noticing that our water tower is not full. So at night, I think we're consuming more water than we're producing, which will be a real problem. Hopefully, a trader will come by food soon that we can buy some extra food off of until we can get this built. Here we go. Perfect, food trader. Oh, and we can even get some meat. So they have some basic meals and the meat, and it's all the same price. They even have some alcohol, but we haven't gotten into that. And they have, so this is one I talked about, we can get some different varieties of crops. So specifically what you can get is you can get GM, basically genetically modified tomatoes, and I think it's onions. Is the other one? I have to look at the list. But, so what we'll do is we'll buy the food. Oh god, this guy's expensive too. And we have to have the food. And we'll just buy what we can buy. Can I get like one more meal out of him? Not quite. I may even make up the difference there with money. Alright. Well, there we go. That'll get us some more food, which is going to be very important. There we go. We're burning through spares a little faster than I would like. I'm going to set the production limit on that down, actually, a little bit. That's the wrong one. Interaction limits. I think I'll set both these down to 10. Because 10 for now will be fine. And we can't produce medical supplies right at the moment anyway, so I'll leave that at 50 for now. That's one of the things you produce in the laboratory. There we go. Everybody's getting a meal now. At least we can now make some pasta. There we go. So they're getting a little more variety instead of basic meals. That's part of the reason I bought that meat, so we could make a few other things. Meat's something else you produce in the lab. So basically the laboratory lets you make medicine and meat. Yeah, I know our food stocks are low. Let's see here, laboratory. Because I want to see if we can kind of like get something out over here. That's not what I wanted. Let's see here. What if I do like a big power collector? Let me put that in over here, maybe. Nope. What about if I do like this? Nope, it's not gonna let me flatten that out. Annoying. Yeah, our food stocks are low. We're trying to fix it, guys. They're slowly getting the metals together. Now, the good news is, if we can get ahead of the spare parts needs, which it looks like we should be able to, we can actually use those to buy things, because they're pretty valuable. So we're going to keep working at it here. Yep, I know our food stocks are low. Got that. Alright, what's this guy got? Okay, he has a metal. His commission rate's not too bad. We can work with this. We'll trade him a bioplastic or two. Trade him an ore. So we'll trade him an extra bioplastic. So, see these medical plants? It's one of the things we'll be putting in our new greenhouse. That's what you use to make your medical supplies. And we're going to finish out the rest with some food goods here. Let's give him... We'll give him another spare. We'll give him a spare. And see what that gets us food-wise. That's a little much. So let's see. Another bioplastic. Alright, 1 coin. There we go. That'll be an even trade. Get us some food and get us a metal towards our new farm. Because once we get this farm up and running, we'll be alright. We'll need another water production facility, I think. Yeah, there goes our last medical supply right there. That's the problem with working in the mines. It injures your people. That's part of the reason you want to work towards getting the drill bots. Because the drill bots, while they take damage over time, they don't consume medical supplies from injuries. So theoretically, what we want is about 4 drill bots, because you can use up to 3 at once, and that'll give you a 4th one to rotate them out a bit. Yeah, so we're losing water at night. We're also starting to lose power, too. Yeah. So we're going to have to adjust our power some, too. Because while we're netting power during the day, our power storage is starting to not be enough to get through the night. Same with our water. So we're going to have to, as soon as we get this built, we're going to have to expand power and water production. Yep, we're out of spares. Food sucks. Yep, got it. Good news is we're producing power fast enough to top off our power storage pretty well. Okay, good. We got another round of crops about to pop out. Alright, yeah, I got it, game. Okay. How close are we on this? 2 more metals. Okay, that one's going to spares. Yep. I don't need the notification every day. Hold on. Yeah, so look at text real quick. So yeah, it's generally genetically modified tomatoes and onions you can get. And you start with the carrier bot tech, so we don't have to buy that. Alright, now it's this guy's commission, 45. Alright, so if we give him all 3 bioplastics... There we go. I guess a little more food. Hopefully some variety in their diet. Yep, we got it. Yeah, we're out of medical supplies. That's a real problem. This guy... I didn't check to see if he had medical supplies. We're gonna have to build the laboratory pretty soon. And I suspect we're also gonna need another CO2 producer, or another oxygen producer over here too. We actually did pretty well on water and power over the night this time. How we doing? One more metal there. We're positive on spares at the moment, so we're starting to get ahead of it a little bit. The main problem is still the food. Once this is done, we'll be there. That's part of the reason I've got them prioritizing running the processing plant here. It's just to keep on top of the metal demands. Which, there it goes. So, first things first, we're going to plant more food production over here. The constructor bot should be out here in a second to finish that up for us. The construction bot needs some repairs too. And they've used our spares now. We're not quite there yet. We're not quite where I want to be on the curve. Yeah, I got it, game. I don't need the alerts every 10 seconds. Don't just, like, build... Okay. Constructor bot won't fail me. He's coming out here to build that. There we go. So this red means the oxygen level in here is low, and that's because they're so far away from an oxygen production facility that it's struggling to fill this area up quickly enough. Yeah. But you can see it's starting to fill in now. And you can click on any building and it'll show you the oxygen level. There we go. Alright. So let's get this laid out. So we're going to want some medical plants. I'm going to do like 2, 3. There we go. Probably want 1 tomato. We want a bunch of mushrooms. So they're low maintenance. We'll do wheat, because wheat's very flexible. We'll do a little bit of grass, or rice. We'll do... yeah, we'll do 1 pea. I don't want to do too much high demand. And then we'll do... We'll do an onion. There we go. That'll give us a nice mix of things. We'll produce more starch for making bioplastic. We'll produce a lot more vegetables. Now, the next major thing we need right now, because that's going to increase our water consumption significantly, is we're going to build a large water collector. What's this guy? Nope. Dismiss. Sorry, I just can't afford it. I just don't have enough to trade right now. What I might do for now is we're just going to go to landing permissions. We're going to turn off the traders, because for now we don't have anything we can sell them anyways. But we are slowly but surely getting our farming up, which is good. Yeah, I know water storage is low, which is why this needs to be a priority. Okay, where's my metals? Alright. So once we get 3 metals, we'll have improved water storage, or improved water production. Okay. Okay, so they're starting to get things built over here. And the main reason I go with a lot of low maintenance stuff, and see, you can see we're starting to get medical plants here, is because the low maintenance stuff means that the botanists are having to spend less time working on it. And they kind of deteriorate less quickly. So you can have larger farm areas, and therefore kind of produce more stuff with fewer staff. That's something you have to kind of balance out. Alright, now once they get this going, we'll do I'm going to need a laboratory. Okay, so if we can get one here, what we'll do is actually, instead of a laboratory, we'll go CO2, build a big one here. So that'll fix the CO2 problem once that's built. But again, we want them to finish getting the water under control first. Yeah, because see, now we're producing too much water. Or we're not producing enough water at all. Which means that O2 generator is not working, and that farm is not working right now, which is not ideal. I need them to get this up and running. Come on, guys. Give me that metal I need. Yep, we got it. We got it. Come on. We're so close on the metal. One more metal, and we'll have the water situation resolved. There it is. This is why normally, and I should have done this the first time when playing, or when starting off, is I'll just go ahead and build a large water collector, a large CO2 or a large O2 generator, you know. I'll just build one large of everything. And while it stresses your materials that you start with the exception of, like, the processing plant, I'll build the small one. The factory, I'll build the small one. But I'll build, like, the large storage, the large water collector, you know, a large solar panel instead of the medium. You know, the larger size will let me, and I'll build, like, a large power storage. Normally is my normal tactic. There we go. Okay, so now we're water positive. All that's happy. We're still a little power heavy right now, but that's okay. Because once we can kind of get things a bit better stabilized here, because now they're going to be working on producing metals, and we'll now have plenty of food. We can then also start working on building the laboratory. Yes, got it. There we go. And that'll let us bridge over into here. Because the laboratory is not a terminal, it can actually act as a pass-through, which is fine. And what we'll do is we'll probably actually add another airlock over here on this side, make it easier for people to go in and out as needed. Just because what we'll do is we'll probably build a lot of our power infrastructure and stuff out this way. And we'll eventually rebuild our landing area somewhere over here, where we can better control the in and out flow of ships landing. Did I just lose someone? I just heard a sound. Yep. Dang it. We just lost somebody. Come on, food. I need you to start producing. See, the other problem is this one is so far away because of how things got laid out. The botanists just aren't making it over there. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's turn on colonists again. And traders. We need some more botanists. We only have 3. We need about 5 botanists now. And then we just had another one die. And unfortunately, that was one of our botanists, too. This is also why I normally also build a big farm to begin with. But it's okay. We'll get through this. Come on. That meteorite was scary. Over there. Lost another guy. That was a worker this time. At least we're starting to get some vegetables out of there. Come on. Just need a trader or something. We're going to have to turn off the mine at this rate, too. The workers are getting too badly hurt. I'll do that to disable the mine so we don't lose any more workers to injuries. Okay, so we're starting to produce some food. Looks like it's mostly stewed tomatoes, but, you know, in the sense that they're making a basic meal out of tomatoes. So I guess they're eating ketchup. Oh, goodness. But at least they're not starving. Okay, they're finally getting over here to fix up these plants, too. Alright. Oh, come on. Yeah, I understand. I understand, game. Alright. Not even a trader. Nothing. The other thing we're going to need eventually is a larger cantina for them to use. So basically what will happen is we'll start building extra facilities out this way and kind of duplicating things so we can handle more people. These commissions are going to kill us. Alright. Well, I have to spend most of my resources just getting something. Alright. At least get some more food into the base for them. Alright. At least they're getting close to having the oxygen generator, which will help with our oxygen demands. Yeah, we lost another one. Did we lose this time? We lost our medic. Unfortunate. Come on. There we go. Looks like we're going to get some more food here. Now, the problem is, until we can get some more colonists, we're going to be in kind of a bad situation. And that is determined by this prestige and welfare rating. And right now, that's real low because of the things going on. This is how you lose a colony. Which I very well may lose this one. Not often that I lose a colony. But the way I was constrained in here with this little, like, area, and then some of my poor build decisions early on have really kind of hurt us. Alright, let's see here. Yeah. They're all eagerly awaiting just any amount of food here. Okay, how's our welfare looking now? It's decent. That should at least let us attract some colonists. There we go. Some replacement colonists. And it's a botanist. Good. That'll help us with some of the workload on the food. Alright, so how many workers do we have? We have 5 workers and 2 are injured. So I'm going to have to turn this back on. We'll turn that back on so my workers have something to do. And so we can start getting some more metal produced, because we're going to need more metal. Another colonist? Nope, it's a traitor. No, go away. I can't afford that. Let me just turn off traders for now. Because we need now is more colonists. Specifically, we need more botanists and another medic. And just more laborers in general. Because what I can do... So we'll build a few more beds just to make it easier for people to have a place to stay. There we go. So that'll give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 10 beds right now. 6, 7. That'll give us 14 beds. So 14 colonists can sleep at the same time. Now, yeah, I got food stocks issue. Now, if we can get another botanist, though, that would be ideal. Then we could maintain these better. The other thing I could do might not be a bad idea. Guess we could put a small cabin over here. And what we can do is that way we'll have a small cabin where a couple people can sleep, and it can be for, like, the botanists simply. The botanists will sleep closer to work. And that'll let us make their walk shorter. Because that's one of the other things you have to think about is the efficiency of how far your people are having to walk in the day to like, go to their jobs and move resources around. Part of the reason you want things like the carrier bots to handle the moving of things around. So your people can focus on doing the more technical work. At least we're starting to produce metals again. Just need a couple more colonists. Alright. Come on, colonists. Here we go, here we go. What do we got? It's another botanist. Sweet. So now we're back up to what? 4 botanists? That's not bad. That'll help. That'll increase our food production. Already came in here and got to work. Perfect. Yep. Because that means we should be able to have kind of 2 in each room now. But if we can get 1 or 2 more, that'd be ideal. Okay. Anything close to producing food? At least tomatoes are. What about over here? Main problem is these things are just so poorly maintained right now. Because we've been so low on botanists. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to close this. We're getting too many injured people. At least we have a little bit of metal and ore to produce more metal and ore. Because if we can get this cabin built and stuff, that'll be good. Okay. We're starting to stay a little food, close to food neutral now. So what we could do is we're going to go into our landing permissions real quick, and we're just going to be like, all the botanists, please. And that'll basically force them to bring us more botanists. Not like, it won't force it, but it will just mean when the game does land colonists, there'll be botanists. And who just died? It was one of our botanists, wasn't it? Yeah. That meter right there was gunning for someone. Yep, there goes our constructor bot. There goes our power grid. Starting to have a real problem with power. Okay, it brought us a medic. Not what I was looking for. Gonna try and expand our power grid a little bit. Assuming we can get enough metals. But without a medic or a lab or medical supplies, it's gonna become really hard to do. Or more workers, one of the two. So part of the reason workers are important is because they don't slow down as much when carrying items around. So they are really, really important for your logistics stuff. Yeah, I know about malnutrition. Game. They can't do anything about it until we get more medicine, more botanists to produce more food. So you see this person's basically suffering from malnutrition. Basically, until they get something that isn't a basic meal, they're going to have that status. But we just got some salads, so they'll get one, and they'll be okay. Okay. How's our... decent, so... Alright, if we can get a few more botanists, we'll be okay. Okay, so we'll go over some of what these icons mean. So obviously these are your different types of bots. This is your total bots, and this is carriers, construction bots, and driller bots. So your three types. And then this is total individuals, and these are tourists, basically, people who are here visiting, so visitors. And then you have your workers, your botanists, your technicians, or engineers, your medics, and your guards. We get it's a botanist. We're up to 4 again. We should bring 2 instead of 1. That's right. Keep that tomato plant running. I may deconstruct these medical plants. We'll recycle that one. We'll recycle that one. We're going to switch those over to something like mushrooms. But I'll leave it for now, actually. There we go. Because for now, 1 medical plant should be fine. There we go. This person's now doing better, or they were. Okay, what do we have? It's another botanist. We're up to 5 botanists now. Which is good. Alright. So we now have a cabin over here. So basically, this is like the dorm, but instead of getting bunk beds, it gets these nice single beds. And notice it can only hold like 5 people. But they're much more comfortable and make your colonists much happier. So my hope is our botanists will live over there and kind of just man the farm, mostly. All right, come on. All right, we're starting to make some headway over here on some of these. So that's good. Now we just need the bioplastic for this oxygen generator, and then I'll make sure we don't ever run low on oxygen. Ooh, that was right next to our mine. All right, how are we looking statistics-wise? Still decent on welfare, not good though. It'll become better as we get more food and more nutrition going. See, there we go. Look at that. That's a nice little harvest there. And so what we'll do is we'll rebalance our population desires here in a minute. Once we get a couple more botanists. So I think we get like 2 or 3 more botanists. We'll be right as rain as far as keeping these plants all nice and happy, keeping us in good crop supply. There we go. Got some salads that'll help some of the nutritional issues. There we go. We got another colonist coming in. Who is it? It's another botanist. Nice. All right. So where are we looking at? We're up to 6 botanists. That's probably enough for us to start balancing back out the landing permission. So we're going to reset this to default. We're going to go back up to 5% guards. So there we go. So that'll start bringing in more workers. And we still need, a few more biologists to be at kind of the ideal spread. But that's fine. There we go. But with 6, we ought to be able to manage our large farm now. So we ought to be okay. Now we just got to fix our worker situation so we can get to producing metals again. We'll open the mine back up, even though we don't really have enough workers to spare losing any more to injuries. Because we got to get the metals flowing again. We'll probably also turn back on traders at this point. Because now that we've got enough biologists producing food, we can actually trade some stuff. Again, that meteorite is really close. The worst meteorite incident I've ever had in one of these games is it landed on a cabin with people in it. That was awful. Good, we got another worker. Beautiful. That'll let us get our metal production back up and going. The other thing we'll do here is we'll actually build another meal maker here. And can we get a small table? Yes, we can. Just put a small table there. Get some more eating space. And another meal maker will basically make it so we can have more meals in stock at any one time. Especially as we start getting our farming a little more productive here. Now, we can't really expand too much more because our power grid just can't handle it. Especially with these things being damaged. Yeah, there goes our power grid. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. No, I don't want that. I need to see if need a trader to land. Until the wind picks up, we're going to have a problem. And this is what happens when you run out of spares. Things like this, they start degrading. This is going to be a real problem. And there's more workers coming in. Let's try and get the metals flowing again. Be really nice if I could get a trader to come through with a couple spares. It's medical supplies. That would also solve the problem at this point. Because I've got basically 3 or 4 people down medically. And that's hurting my production line. Yeah. Even with wind basically maxed out, I can't produce enough power with just these 2 turbines. Come on, give me a trader. Give me a merchant. Yeah, I got it. We're in a bad way. I got it, game. I got it. Yes, trader. Come on. What you got? What you got? not the things I need. And your commission rate's very high. I'm just going to take your money, as much as you'll let me have here, and a little bit of food, just to get a little more variety. Come on. Y'all go get him going, so we can get the food and stuff, and hopefully get a better trader. There we go. That'll be at least power positive, even though these things are only working at like 50% production here. Except now our wind turbines are also falling apart. I've been very inefficient in this build. That is my fault. The other problem is, this was the power issues. It's going to start actually affecting our food production. Even though we now have the botanists to run the plants degrade if they don't have power and water. Oh good, they're finally getting the bioplastic over here to the lab. Or the oxygen generator. Isn't that nice? Doesn't help us at this moment. Yep, I know. We're out of all that stuff. Things are going real bad right now, game. I got it. Yeah, cool. You don't need to keep telling me. Can I turn off those alerts? Grid? Let's see here. Stable all non-vital structures. Any permissions? I don't have security controls yet. There we go. Wow. Even with all the non-vital structures disabled. We're still not netting power. Even with the wind at max, because that's dead, and that can only produce 10 right now. Alright. Well, at least for now we're producing some power. Let's enable that. Because we need a merchant. That needs power, and that needs power. And this needs power. Nope, not edit. Power. There we go. How we doing? Alright, we're still power positive. Yeah, I understand that the food situation is a real bad game. Yep. Yep. Well, I think we're probably going to have to call this colony, because I think I've messed it up too badly. Well, thank you all for joining me for the second episode of this colony and trying to recover it. But I just don't think it's going to happen. We're just facing too many catastrophe after catastrophe here. Yeah, well, you got a merchant. What you got? Food. And your prices are high. Again. The merchants have been unforgiving. Can't get enough goods to even trade with them. Our colonists are all starving to death and dropping like flies. And worse is it's the colonists that produce the food that are starving to death. So, I think I'm going to call this one here. Thank you all for joining me. This has been Thalan McRom, failing at a game I'm normally actually really good at. Though it does have a bit of a learning curve, figuring out what your balance needs to be. And that's what this game is really about, just balancing out, expansion, etc. Against, the needs of the colonists and your resource production and whatnot. So, this has been Planetbase. I hope you all enjoyed, as my medic just died. So, thank you all. Leave your comments. Like and subscribe if you like this content. Tell me if you don't like Planetbase. Tell me if you like Planetbase. Tell me if you want to see more Planetbase. Tell me if you want to see other games. Love hearing from you guys. And you all have a great one. Thank you. And we'll catch you the next one.